believe that we are in a fight today, you're sleeping under a rock. If you get hit and you lay down and you cry and you fold up in the corner, definitely you will not win the fight. We show up to win. Our culture needs a lot of you young people in here to step up and stand out. There is nothing or no principality, power, division, devil can stop us when we're united. They can only get you when you're divided. When I see the American flag, I see us progressing to something that can be awesome and great. And if you don't plan on winning things, you might as well go home today.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen and ladies? Welcome back to another Officer Tatum show. Thank you guys for all of your support. We got videos of, I don't know how many, 50 volunteers came today. We gave them a little tour in the office and everything, and they were down there. They brought their kids. I mean, this was such a family affair here at the Officer Tatum headquarters, supporting Charlie Kirk. We got all those shirts. Everybody's helping fold. We had a little lunch for everybody. I mean, what a beautiful display of unity and togetherness for a common cause. It just made me extremely happy. I just want to share that real quick before we get into this. Some of you guys may know that I went to Dream City Church. That was a church that me and my wife, we are members at, that we attend, and so did Charlie Kirk. He had a freedom night that he would do I think it was once a month on like every Tuesday. And I wasn't able to make it often, but he used to do it every night. And so after his passing, Pastor Luke asked me to come and fill in for the Sunday service, for both services, to just answer some questions from the audience about Charlie. And it was a very big honor for me to be in that position to do that. And here's one of the clips. And it was funny because I was like, people may take this the wrong way, so don't take it the wrong way. But when I speak in public and I do stuff like that, I only know how to do it one way, and that's from the heart. So just hear this clip. It's only like 20 seconds, but this is one of the preview clips of me at Dream City. Roll the clip.
I'm so saddened that he's gone. You know, I was sitting in the pews and y'all had to play that music and make me cry. I mean, I can't stop the tears from coming down, but the beautiful thing is that he's gone on and he's happy with Jesus, man. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little jealous because I want to see Jesus too one day. And so he's gone on with Jesus, but you know what? They thought that they had ended his message. They thought that they had ended his legacy, but the joke's on them because he's happy and his legacy is going to be greater than anybody could have ever imagined. So I'm happy to be a part of that.
And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, man. I know that as people are feeling a sense of pain, a sense of dread, people are feeling incredibly sad, which I know the feeling. I mean, when it first happened, every few minutes, I would go in and out of just complete disbelief and sadness. Then I'll accept it, and I'll go back in despair. So I know what it feels like, and I know what some of you guys are going through. But on the other side of that is the question that you have to ask yourself in the mirror is, do I really believe in God? Or do I kind of believe in God? When I say in my prayers and I say in front of people, God is sovereign over all things, do I believe that or do I not believe that? If you're a person who believes that, then you would know that this is not a negative thing. This is a positive thing. And when I say positive, meaning that he going on with Jesus, so he ain't worried about us. I don't know if God let you see us or not, but he going on with Jesus. Well done, my faithful servant. No more pain, no more suffering, no more ailments of this world. So y'all have given him a chance to meet his Savior, which is the end of what we all want to happen for us. Now, of course, we don't want it to happen like that. But if God allows that to happen, then that's God's plan. And if you believe in it, then Charlie went on to a better place, and God is going to turn this into something bigger than it ever could have been while Charlie was alive. And God always have a plan. So when you believe God, you believe God's plan, you believe God's sovereignty. You know that you're hurting, but he said, my burdens are light. My yoke is easy, my burdens are light. Following Christ gives you the ability to understand things better, the ability to heal better, the ability to understand and outside of the carnal mind of the human of the difference between tragedy and transformation. And that's what I was trying to convey on the stage there. Let me take this thing out of lip. I try that little Zen thing. I don't even promote that company, but it's good when you do it for like just a couple minutes. Give you a little boop, and then you good. It's supposed to be a little healthier than smoking them cigars because I love smoking cigars. I literally want to go smoke one right now. I would smoke one in here, but I don't have ventilation in here, and Nick would be in here choking, and he'll sue me for secondhand hazardous pay, secondhand smoking hazardous pay. But let's talk about this real quick. It's the elephant in the room. I always call it the Lizzo in the room. Can we just keep the main thing about the main thing? I am so disappointed in the fact that I go on social media and I see individuals and collective groups of people talking about something that don't have nothing to do with Charlie and don't have nothing to do with Charlie's legacy and have nothing to do with how Charlie lost his life. I'm perplexed. It's like, why are we talking about this when the news about this is going on? When the guy who did it is over here. When the guy who confessed is over here. When the testimonies are coming from over here. The grand jury indictment is over here. The death penalty on the table is over here. But yet people are talking about stuff over here. And the stuff that they talk about over here, in my opinion, clearly is not accurate. Or at best, is causing division. So whether it's accurate or not, it's causing division, and my buddy ain't even in the ground yet. He's not rolling in the grave yet over the silliness that I see in the domain of communication on social media. I'm not upset as much with people who didn't know Charlie talking trash. They stupid. So I don't care if somebody don't even know me talking bad about me. Yeah, it's disrespectful. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I will slap you if you step on roses and memorabilia of Charlie Kirk in front of me. I'm going to beat you down. Forgive me, Lord. Pastor, forgive me. Pray for me. I'm going to beat you know what? If I catch you defacing. It's no. Hold on. Let me say this real quick. It ain't the Zens. Don't get mad at me. Can I be real with y'all? Enough is enough, bruh. I'm not telling people to go be violent or nothing, but you can't let somebody desecrate Charlie Kirk's memorial in front of you and you just want to let it go. No, you are going to take a L if I ever am in the presence of somebody defacing any memorabilia for Charlie Kirk. You are going to take a L. I'm just saying. And I'm not going to be the coward and do nothing. It's a face-to-face L. It's like, oh, okay, come on over here. Come on, get this work. The kid that did that at Turning Point, that's why I don't go over there. Because I'm not like the rest of the people. I go over there and see you jumping on stuff. I'm going to jump on you. And then I'm going to get the cops to get you after that. I can't. Enough is enough, man. You can talk all you want. You can say whatever you want about Charlie. You have the freedom to say that. Now, if your job fire you, that's on you, fool. If they kick you out of the university, that's on you. You the one stupid and not following any of the principles, but that's on you. But you go to deface stuff in front of me, I'm not having it. I'm telling you, I'm not having it. That's why when I was at Turning Point, and they never did it when I was there, because I was, flipping the tapes, throwing all their stuff on the ground, throwing water on these kids. Bro, you can talk right there. Say what you want. Call me names. You can spit on the ground over here, do whatever you want. You get crazy with me at these events. I'm going to protect these young people. And that's the same thing happened in UC Davis. That's all a little non-binary guy, just a little love tap. I wanted to round them up. And I'm telling y'all, God is my witness. I could have defended Turning Point from every single one of them. I mean, one hit of quitters, each one. They were a little binary. They were a little nut. Y'all, they had masks on, but they were weak and frail and shaky and stuff. I was like, what the? Okay, cops, can I just beat these people up? Because y'all not doing nothing. Can I just finish this? Me by myself. Just give me some water. I'll take care of this. And then you put them in handcuffs. Let me do the work. Because these little cowards have to learn that they need to just talk, and they start getting physical, then we ain't having it. We're going to defend ourselves. I saw this clip I'm trying to be a good Christian. Y'all forgive me. I'm just human. I saw this clip of Turning Point USA people blocking this nut that was pouring paint on a memorial for Charlie. At some point, we got to say, well, you ain't doing that. You can talk, you can spit, and you can do little images and stuff, but you go pouring stuff on stuff, we're going to stop you from doing that. We're not going to put our hand in the way. You ain't pouring ink on this. You ain't doing it. I don't care nothing about, because they'll push y'all out the way and throw paint everywhere. Push them out the way. You're not defacing this property. You're not. Anyway, when I see people talking about the Jews, it bothers me. The Jews did it. The Jews did it. They're taking responsibility away from the person who really did it and confessed to it. They taking that power, or they giving him power, emboldening him, eluding what he did to talk about this when there's no evidence whatsoever. So let's go down the food chain. Here's a clip from this guy named Nick Fuentes. If you don't know him, good on you, because he's an idiot. He is a narcissistic idiot. Don't let this fool trick your young people, because now that Charlie's gone, he's trying to position himself to get the mind of the youth to be stupid like him. Radical, stupid, hateful, racist people like him. Charlie was not like this. Charlie would never say that you can't marry somebody of the opposite, not opposite, but of a different race. Charlie would never in his life say, I want my kids to be white. Charlie never felt that. Charlie never said that. Charlie never discriminated. When we first started Turning Point, he first started Turning Point USA, his best friend was a black woman, Candace. They were like this, bro. Flying on an airplane together, everything. I thought they was in a relationship at one point. I was like, they must be, that's a good couple right there. Look, they going everywhere together. They ain't a couple. Then when I got to know them, I realized they weren't, but Charlie ain't no racist. This guy is a racist. And let me say this before I play this clip. Don't forget what he said about Charlie before Charlie's death. Don't forget what he said. He called Charlie a fake Christian. He said Charlie should never be able to go to campus without getting harassed, without getting accosted. He said it out his own mouth. Don't make me pull a film. He said the most terrible things about Charlie Kirk, and it made me so mad. You can go back and look at my Twitter, right? You go look right now. Go back in time before Charlie's death. I was on Twitter defending Charlie against this guy. They claiming Charlie's a coward. He didn't want to debate him. This guy's a nut. That's why Charlie wouldn't waste his time debating a nut job. He said all these negative things. I'm never going to forget it. I'm not going to forget it. And don't wait till he's dead to come out and try to act like you cool, or act like you kind of like him, or act like you believe in his form of Christianity when you said he was a fake Christian. And now he's trying to position himself in Charlie's spot. I said it on my X account that he represents the devil. Charlie is representing God, and the devil wants the godly man's place. And so he's going to come on and capitulate and mitigate his real thoughts so he can try to position himself to be the next Charlie Kirk, leading young boys to stupidity. He's not married. He don't have no kids. That boy don't know what he's talking about. Okay. In the video with a furry, I'll pull a tape. He was in a video with a furry. I didn't know the gay stuff. So some dude had bunny ears or something on him, and he riding around with him all day, went to lunch with him and everything. It's on camera. He did it. Talking about he was trolling. Bro, that's your boy. You like the shooter, your boyfriend, and you don't want nobody to know you up there, man on your back at night. It's mostly the ones that are hyper Christian that hate everybody. Be the ones that laying on their back with some fairy on the back of them. And I bet that's what this boy doing. Go check his files. That's why he ain't got no woman. It ain't because he really so dedicated to it. Man, he got it because he got a tranny back there. All right, let's play this clip, and we'll go from there. Roll it.
Time to wake up, guys. Some of this, I'll be the first one to say, the conspiratard schizo thing, it's getting a little out of control.
Which is what he did.
And that's coming from me.
Go.
I mean, it's like we are truly through the looking glass. When Charlie Kirk is assassinated, people blame Israel. I, who fought Charlie Kirk because he was pro-Israel, am being said to, I'm being said to be covering up that he was killed for this miraculous conversion. If Ben Shapiro was taken out next, and God forbid, would Israel be behind that too? I mean, that would be equally ridiculous. If it was Ben Shapiro on Wednesday, people would be saying, Israel did it. Shapiro was about to become a National Socialist. Like, what? It's crazy. Anyway, so that just needs to be said.
Funny that he say that. And in post-production, I'm going to have Nick throw some clips in there. This fool literally, when it first happened, he just said recently that it was confirmed that Benjamin Netanyahu, or maybe he said allegedly, that Benjamin Netanyahu offered Charlie Kirk $150 million. He said that publicly. He is framing this, but he's trying to back off of it so he can sound a little more reasonable, so he can sneak his way in, and he can now say, I'm the new Charlie Kirk. And let me tell you the trick of the enemy, because he is articulate. He's very convincing. He knows enough to know how to talk well. That's how he tricked the youth. I would never have a young person tell him to go listen to Nick Fuentes. That man that say he about God and he cuss every time he talk. He cussing and saying something crazy. Anyway, let's go to another idiot. Bassem Youssef. Think he was that. Is that the comedian? On Piers Morgan talking stupid. Do we have that clip? Clip 3. That's him. He looked like a fool. Listen to what he say, wrote a clip.
Some of these passages is never enough for you. You see, it doesn't matter how critical journalists are about Israel. It will never be enough for you because you want the right. You want the right to suggest that Charlie Kirk was the subject of a hit job by Israel. You want the world to think that. That's why you said what you said, and that's why when I asked you, you went, Netanyahu says it wasn't him.
By the way, I'm not even the only one. People are actually. Here's the thing: if you continue lying to your people, right? I'll tell you what. Let's call me a conspiracy theorist, right?
Yeah.
Call me someone who is illogical. Call me whatever you want. If your government continues to lie to you consistently, this is where conspiracy theorists thrive. If you're not transparent,
Why do you want to be one of them?
If you want to cover up, no. I'm not saying I'm one
Why?
of them.
Why float a mad conspiracy theory about Israel?
Because it's the internet, and I'm a comedian.
Okay, but it's not that funny, though, is it?
Actually, a lot of people thought it was very funny.
You have millions, I'm sure we did, but millions of people follow you, and you want them to think that Israel was behind the murder of Charlie Kirk. And you call me an ill-informed, irresponsible journalist.
Yeah, because I'm not a journalist. I'm a comedian. Remember, I'm a clown. I
don't think you're a clown.
That's what I do. Oh, I'm a clown. Actually, I'm a comedian. Comedians are actually overpaid.
But I think
clowns.
you're somebody who is so blindly hateful of all things Israel that you'll even promote a conspiracy.
Did the clip end it? So anyway, he tried to divert and say, oh, I'm a comedian. It was not very serious, although he was pushing the conspiracy that Israel was behind this. He did it. Nick Fuentes did it. It's a whole bunch of other people on the internet doing that. They're doing it subtly, and they're also doing it directly. There is no way in the world that before Charlie can be put in the ground, that people are floating the idea and pushing this extreme idea that somehow he turned on Jews or turned on Israel. To what end? Because if you're not going to conclude that Israel was behind his death, then whether he turned on Israel, had a difference of opinion about Israel or not, is irrelevant to his death. So why bring it up? Why not focus on the mental illness and the evilness of these people who are on the left, who instead of debating ideas, they want to eliminate you so they don't have to debate your ideas. Them getting owned on camera, instead of them getting owned, they want to eliminate you so they can have an excuse not to be owned no more. Don't let them trick you. unless they come out and say, I'm sorry, I was wrong, I should have never been pushing this Israel stuff. Don't let them come back and try to back off of it. Because the more information we get, the more testimonies we get, all of those things lead to the fact that that nut job planned and went up on that roof and shot our friend and killed him. And he not the only one that want to do it and that plan on doing it. But you keep looking at Israel, you're going to get blind spotted over here. You keep looking at Israel, and then a pro-Israeli person think you can't be next because you think I'm good with Israel, so nothing gonna happen. No, these people are a threat. They're a threat to Charlie. They're a threat to me. They're a threat to the young people on campus. They have always been a threat. But there's a once-in-a-generation nut that's willing to assassinate somebody. Once in a generation, you'll have somebody, that one person that's willing to assassinate and spend the rest of his life in jail. Let's go to Tucker. This is what bothers me about this, and I'm going to play it. Roll the clip. Oh, we got Tucker clip 4. This is what bothers me, and this is why I don't fool with him no more. I don't want nothing to do. I've lost faith in Tucker Carlson. I never really liked him a lot. I didn't like how he talked. Like, he was very condescending and he's just weird. But I respected his gangster because he was keeping it real. On Fox News, he was hitting them over the head. He would do tough interviews with Trump or anybody. And then somehow a tapeworm got in him, and now he just say the craziest stuff on planet Earth. Charlie has not been buried yet, and this is the stuff he's saying. Roll the clip.
He did not like Bibi Netanyahu, and he said that to me many times, and he said it to people around him many times. He felt that Bibi Netanyahu was a very destructive force. He was appalled by what was happening in Gaza. He was, above all, resentful that he believed Netanyahu was using the United States to prosecute his wars for the benefit of his country, and that it was shameful and embarrassing and bad for the United States, and he resented it. Didn't hate Netanyahu. He wasn't out there with a placard saying that, but he certainly expressed that to me and a lot of other people. And there's no question that Bibi's defenders on the internet will call me a liar or a kook, but that's a fact. And enough text messages exist that I think it can probably be verified in pretty short order. Not that it needs to be, because that is true. Shortly after that speech, there was a very intense attack on Charlie, and to some extent on me, not that I really noticed. But on him, I have no donors. He had $100 million worth of donors. And so, because he was involved in a different project from just yapping on the internet, which is what I do for a living, he was dependent to a great extent on his donors, of course. It's a nonprofit. And they went after him and tormented him. Not all, of course. Many were supportive, but
I know many
were
of
offended
them
by my speech, and there was a small, very intense group who were tormented Charlie Kirk until the day he died.
Let's get this correct. I lose respect every time I listen to him talk. Do we have that clip of Charlie Kirk doing that debate? Yeah. The debate at Oxford or wherever he was at, Cambridge. We'll play this debate, and I want you to I want you to put this in perspective. Even if what Tucker is saying is true, what does it matter? What does it really matter right now? What does it really matter after he's been killed by somebody? What does it matter? But then he goes on to say, Benjamin Netanyahu and his donors. Think about this for a minute. And this is coming from a person who has been with Turning Point USA since 2017. If an anti-Semitic person like Tucker Carlson is on stage spewing hatred against Jews and conspiracies, why would a donor that's Jewish or that is donating to you because you are elevating the Zionist ideas that you have had since you was 16 years old, why would they not have a problem with it? You can believe that they're wrong or right or whatever your opinion is, but you can't deny that. Why would a donor say, I have no problem with you bringing this nut on stage in front of all of these young people and spewing stupidity? This ain't the Tucker Carlson of Fox News or the Tucker Carlson before he fell off a cliff. This is the new Tucker, where he gets on there and he interviews a nun and don't push back on her not one time. He gets on the TV and say he will give condolences for Osama bin Laden's family. This sorry son of a gun will get on there and say he don't know if Hamas is a terrorist group. Why would a Jewish person give money to an organization if this guy is the one on the stage, prime time, the hottest spot at the conference, saying stupidity? Now, you ain't got to like it, but you crazy to think somebody's not going to have pushback. I know many of the people who donate to Turning Point USA. Many of them will go to bat for Charlie. I seen it with my own eye. They took care of Charlie. They loved Charlie. Charlie could, he was the man. He was the man. I seen it. I work with Turning Point. I see him. They love him. Donating hundreds of millions of dollars to Turning Point, which is a good cause. But I feel the offense when you're like, well, wait a minute, man. This is what Charlie would say. And how did he go from this to what Tucker is saying? And this is what, a month ago? Something like that? About a month ago? Wrote a clip.
Let me ask you, in the conflict of Israel versus Hamas, who's the good guy?
I believe both Hamas and the Israeli government are evil, but I think also that there is no justification.
Are they equally?
There is no justification for the murder and
Look at this
mutilation
weirdo.
of thousands of innocent people and children.
Let's
the futile.
zero in on.
Look
There
at
is
him.
no justification, Mr. Kirk, for invading hospitals, for bombing innocent populations and dragging out a war which is damaging Israel and the West's security.
You've made that point, but
Well, it's not a point; it's a moral truth, isn't
okay,
it?
yeah. It was also a moral truth that the war started because 1,300 Jews were killed and 200 were taken hostage. And when you declare war on Israel, expect a firestorm in reaction. Let me finish, I let you talk. Israel, at its holiest day of the calendar year besides Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah, Samat Torah, the 50-year anniversary of the Six-Day War. On Shabbat, Hamas invaded Israel, deciding to go recklessly to music concerts, to homes, to kibbutzes, and taking 200 plus hostages. They knew what they were doing. In one of the most cloistered urban environments on the planet, 2 million people live in a place where it's impossible to wage war. Impossible. Where they wear civilian clothing, they violate every tenet of the Geneva Convention, and the IDF, when they do something right, they get no credit. When they do life-saving surgeries of a Gazan child, they get no credit. When they drop leaflets, they get no credit. But when they happen to bomb a place where they are operating their military from, which we now know from third-party verified sources, hundreds of Hamas military operations are in mosques, schools, and hospitals. I'm sorry, the country where they were living in relative peace on October 6th, that all of a sudden we had a war and Hamas started the war. And I don't see people that were really upset about the 2 million Germans that were killed in World War II, civilians. A tragic truth of war is that civilians die. I don't like it and you don't like it. And they brought it upon themselves. The only operation and entity to blame is the leadership of Hamas, not the Israeli government, for fighting this defensive war after they were invaded. There is a good guy and there is a bad guy. I honestly...
Isn't that the morality of a child?
Well, hold on. It's interesting you say that, because a child who knows that Israel is the good guy, Hamas is bad, has a lot more wisdom than a student like yourself at Cambridge University.
Now, people can say there's text messages that exist. That's fine. But did anything he say here was untrue? He literally, across from a Cambridge student, whooped him over the head with factual information. And Charlie said the government wasn't the problem. Now, I got more for you. Let's put a clip up where Charlie was, it was the compilation. You got another one? Yeah, I have this one too. Let's play that one and then we'll play the compilation. And I'm not saying that Charlie hadn't felt some type of way about Netanyahu towards the end of his life. I'm not saying that. But this is the body of work from Charlie Kirk over the years. Roll the clip.
The greatest trip I ever took was to Israel, and the second greatest trip I ever took was to Israel, and I've only been there twice.
I agree.
I'm a huge supporter of the Holy Land, of Judea and Samaria, and up against the terrorist organizations, Hezbollah, and the Palestinian Authority. I go to college campuses, and I've spoke at more college campuses than any Christian conservative in the last couple of years. Stanford, Berkeley, Brown, UCLA, University of Texas, University of Michigan, Michigan State University, you name it, I've probably spoken at major universities or states all across the country, from Montana State to Maine. And I am confronted many times by young Christians that believe that Israel is an oppressive apartheid state that basically should not exist in its current form. And so I'm here to clearly communicate to you that we have to do a much better job of communicating, of conveying, I should say, the geopolitical significance of the state of Israel. The world's a better place because of the state of Israel. We have all three monotheistic religions represented in the Israeli Knesset and the Israeli Supreme Court. Israel actually expresses freedom of religion. I'll never forget when I was driving down to Hebron last year, and you're driving down south from Jerusalem, and there's this sign, and I don't speak Arabic, nor do I speak Hebrew. So I turned to my driver. I said, "What does that sign say?" There was no English translation, and there was a arrow in the middle, and an arrow to the right, arrow to the left, and the arrows to the right and left were red, and the arrow in the middle was black or some other, not a warning color. And so I said, "What does that mean?" They said, "Well, if we turn right, you'll die." What do you mean you'll die? Well, if you turn right, you go into the Palestinian Authority-controlled territories, and as a Christian, a Westerner, or a Jew, they'll kill you. I said, well, what kind of ridiculous double standard here? If Arabs come into the Israeli-occupied areas, they're given benefits and rights to vote. You go into the Palestinian Authority areas, Palestinian Authority-controlled areas, you get your head cut off. That was a really interesting moment for me.
Now, I can look at that video and say it's a little older video of Charlie. The one at Cambridge is a more modern video. But let's look at this other video that I seen of Tucker saying what he's saying and Charlie at events publicly. These are not old events. This is public events that Charlie has had. And this is a little compilation that I saw with Tucker and these events where Charlie is literally, in part, debunking that what Tucker is saying was the totality of what he believed. It could have been a frustrated part of what he believed, but it's not the totality of what Charlie believed. Me and Charlie were supposed to go to an event this weekend at Pastor Alan Jackson's church, the biggest Zionist pastor in America, probably. I literally went to Israel with Pastor Jackson. Charlie and Erica were supposed to come and speak at this church. If somehow he hated Netanyahu, maybe he was frustrated with him, but he hated Israel. He was changing. He had changed his entire tune. He now don't believe the stuff that he's saying there, but he's going to speak at Alan Jackson's church. What are we saying? He was a member at the same church I'm at, Dream City Church. What is the stance of the pastor at Dream City Church? A Zionist stance. What are we saying? Let's play this clip. Roll it.
He did not like Bibi Netanyahu, and he said that to me many times, and he said it to people around him many times.
We had like an hour with Netanyahu.
He's special.
Yes.
He's a special leader.
No, I'd say so.
Oh, and he's everything a leader should be, right? I mean, just confident and direct.
He was appalled by what was happening in Gaza.
So, it's funny. I used to say that, hey, if you as a gay person would go to Gaza, they'd throw you off of tall buildings, right? Now they don't have any tall buildings left, so I don't... Is that too soon? I'm sorry. Maybe you shouldn't kill Jews, stupid Muslims.
He was, above all, resentful that he believed Netanyahu was using the United States to prosecute his wars for the benefit of his country, and that it was shameful and embarrassing and bad for the United States, and he resented it.
How do you guys reconcile with the fact that despite so many American first policies and sort of speeches he gives, he still very adamantly supports Israel, a country which at times seems to be opposed with our democratic values?
Hold on. Let me ask you a question. Is America first, America only?
Yes.
Oh, see, I disagree. I don't believe in America only. You do?
Yes.
Okay, so I disagree. I don't believe in America only. I think we should prioritize ourselves, but I think there is a place for America to be involved in international relations.
Bibi's defenders on the internet will call me a liar or a kook, but that's a fact.
Okay. let's put this in perspective. Does the videos that I show mean that Charlie did not feel a certain way later in his life? It does not prove that he didn't have a different feeling, a difference of emotion when it came to that. But we're talking about the body of work from a man that did not publicly say any of these things that these people are saying he said. Ask yourself the question, why he did not say this publicly. Could it be because he wasn't convinced that that was his final stance, that he was going to come and take a stance on that principle? Could he have been still processing these things? Maybe he was upset, but that doesn't mean that he was going to continue down that path. This man has spent from 20, I don't know when they started, from when he was 17 to 31 years old. Charlie had been preaching the Zionist message. And he's not just preaching it in a foolish way. He's not just blindly saying, I like Benjamin Netanyahu. You hear him articulate very clear and real reasons why he believes what he believes. All of them are fact-based, not emotionally driven. Now, I've talked to some people that have told me that Charlie was a little upset, but not in a way in which he was turning on Israel, but he was upset because he felt like he was alone in the fight as a conservative, because the youth and the younger people are turning on him because of this Israeli conflict. And that was what someone told me, the pressure that he was feeling. You look at Bill Ackman, came out on social media just recently and made mention that Charlie was, before he passed, he was trying to put together a coalition. This is online. Put together a coalition of individuals that can help with the messaging. There was a letter sent to Benjamin Netanyahu. It is mentioned that the letter was negative towards Benjamin Netanyahu. Now, I haven't read the letter. I've never seen the letter. But based on what Charlie is saying in all of these videos leading up to it, I could see how in the letter, what Benjamin Netanyahu said on television in part would have been true. I can see Charlie sending him a message, even if he didn't like him, saying you need to fix your PR. You got to fight back against this stuff. And it bothers me because I feel like that they are attacking or are forcing a young man in his vulnerability and exploiting him in his vulnerability. If Charlie would have come to me and said, man, I'm struggling with this and this and that, I would talk with him through it. I wouldn't say, look, up, you're noticing, see, up, they're bad, up, they're evil, up, they're up. And then everything Charlie say now from now on is all about the Jews. I would not advise him on that. He convinced me about Israel. And I'll tell you this. I'm going to say this and I'm going to move on. Why did nobody say this while he was alive? This is where y'all need to pay attention to this, clip this, whatever you want to say. Why, if people believe that he was under immense pressure and being taken advantage of by donors and they were doing him in, why did nobody come out and expose that? All these people online expose everything. But nobody would expose the fact that the donors were coming after him and pressuring him. There's text messages. Well, why did nobody say nothing when he was alive? Why you don't defend him when he's alive? Why didn't you support him and defend him when he was alive so he can come out and say exactly what he wanted to say with your support? But instead, when the man is dead and he cannot defend himself, I feel like some people could be taking advantage of the situation. I wouldn't wait till I wouldn't wait. No, hold on, bro. You said what? All right. I'll do it so you don't have to do it. Let me pull up my social media. I heard that these people are pressuring my friend. I don't know their names, but you know who you are, and you better cut this out. I'm gonna blast you. Matter of fact, come on my show. Do this, do that, do that. Let's do this. Mind you, on Tucker Carlson show, Charlie Kirk was on Tucker Carlson show, wasn't he? Recently. That wasn't his last interview. His last interview was with Ben Shapiro, the biggest Jew of them all. But he did go on Tucker Carlson show. I didn't hear him talk about Israel this way on Tucker show. Tucker didn't bring up nothing about this stuff on his show that I know of. There's no clips. You ain't gonna see no clips of him on Tucker's show bashing Israel in the way in which Tucker is saying he was, and that he hated or disliked Netanyahu. He hated him, whatever he said he did. You won't see Charlie saying this on anybody's show. So why then, after he's passed, all of a sudden the narrative is that unequivocally he was completely turning on Israel? I think personally, if you hate Israel, you need Israel to be wrong in every scenario, every situation. And now the biggest Zionist supporter of Israel, in his death, you can now make him into being anti-Israel. You can make him into being, he was against the Jews. Even he didn't even believe the Jews were right. Even he was turning on the Jews. Even he didn't agree with the war. But yet you got a body of work from this man that's articulating clearly why the war exists and who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. Okay. All right. Is that enough, Nick? Did I beat that horse enough? All right, let's go to the killer. Because this is what we should be talking about anyway, the killer. So I want to play Montel Williams clip first. And to me, beyond the Jew thing, this is a bigger issue. The Jew stuff is fantasy world. The Jews, man, these people can see Jews in anything, man. They can be pouring some tea and the bag breaking the tea bag breaking. They like, technically, the tea company made their bags from Israel. So the Jews are trying to poison me. You know, technically Charlie was a Zionist, but then he said Benjamin Netanyahu was not doing what he wanted, so they killed him. I put my life on it. Go listen to anybody who hates Jews. They will find a way to make Jews responsible for everything. What's his name? Jeffrey Epstein. It's like, it's not about what Jeffrey Epstein did to them women. It's about the fact that he was he was a Jew. You know, he was messing with the Jews. It's like, no, he abused people. Let's talk about that. No, it's that he was a Mossad agent blackmailing people connected to the Jews. It's nothing about the victims. It's about his connection to Jews. That's what we see. Now, he may be, and I don't care. I mean, the victim don't care if he was with the Jews or not. He was abusing them. He's going to jail not from being with the Jews. He's going to jail for what he did to people who were innocent. What else they say with the Jews? The moon landing. They probably the moon landing was fake because the Jews said it. Jews got telescopes and the Jews run the world. The Jews are struggling to run Israel. What you mean they run the world? Okay. But the Jews got to be a part of something. The Jews run our banks. The Jews run pornography. Well, one of the biggest pornographic sites is OnlyFans. They're gross. They're making billions of dollars more every year, and it's not run by a Jew. Some of even the porn hub and all that other, like the whole conglomerate. I don't know what the parent name is. That's not even run by a Jew. It just so happened to be a Jew is in the investment company, but have no ownership in that thing. But because a Jew is in the investment company, therefore the company is running pornography by the Jews. Even Charlie made a distinction between Jews and the secular Jews who are stupid. But everybody else got to say all the Jews. I mean, run by the Jews. No, run by secular Jews who are leftists. That's the Jews we talk. Just like black folks. No, don't say black people support Democrats. No, them black people support Democrats. It ain't black, it's them blacks. We ain't doing that. We don't vote for that stuff. We are Christians. We believe in God. We don't vote for Kamala Harris, and she ain't even a Christian. Same thing with the Jews. No, them Jews are voting for all this stuff and donate all their money to all these causes and into pornography and all this stuff. That's them. These Jews over here, the Dennis Pragers of the world, I forget his name now, Ben Shapiro's of the world, you name it. You don't have to like him, but they ain't pushing that agenda. And ain't this funny? All of the hatred, in my opinion, that the Jews get from these nut jobs, the Jews are the one that put the Christians on. If you claim that Turning Point was run by the Jews, all of us came from Turning Point. All of us. Almost all of the popular people that you see that's at the high and mid level of popularity has something to do with Turning Point at some point. They were part of the chapter. They were part of the Black Leadership Summit. They were in the positions at the highest, the director positions. You name it. If you popular at this point from 2017, you came through Turning Point at some point in time. And we ain't even talk about Turning Point faith. We ain't even talk about Turning Point action. All these people getting elected. All these people. The reason Trump is in office is because Turning Point action. Okay, now, Dad, Dennis Prager. I have a 5-minute video. I don't know how many. They have 5-minute videos about Christianity. Prager putting you on. Then you go to Daily Wire. Now, I wasn't as involved in Daily Wire. Daily Wire and Turning Point are like this. Campus tours with Daily Wire was doing it before Turning Point was doing it. And everybody that worked for Ben Shapiro are Christians except him. Am I right? I think everybody worked. Brett Cooper was a Christian, I believe. Or Catholic, Christian Catholic. Michael Knowles is a Catholic. What's his name? Who I don't like that much. He did the What is a Woman? What is his name? Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh is a Catholic. So you got some of the biggest, most prominent people who work for Turning Point USA were Catholic and Christians. I mean, not Turning Point, but Daily Wire, Catholics and Christians. So, but the Jews are the problem. But the Jews are running America. The Jews are... All right. Let's get to the clip with Montel Williams, because it's crazy. Roll the clip.
Talking about a love-torn child, a kid. This is probably his first real relationship, and somebody was disparaging the person that he loved. He sat on that building for 30 minutes before he took the shot. Why did he wait until the first word trans came up? Then he took the shot.
You think he heard it? He could hear it?
I think he could hear it. I think he also... I don't believe he was motivated politically. I think this was motivated emotionally.
Guys, the evidence here is
Come
overwhelming.
on, man.
He said, Charlie Kirk, I can't stand this hate anymore. I'm going to take him out. The testimony from him and the statements of his family, he had become more left-wing. He etched the statements that are made by the left about Republicans and conservatives and Charlie Kirk fascist on the bullet casings.
He made a joke about it in his last text.
Well, it doesn't sound like a joke to me because someone's dead and about to be buried.
Well,
so it doesn't sound like a joke to me.
I mean,
So I'm just telling you, there was an effort all weekend long on the left to try to make this guy sound like he was a conservative. That failed. That was passed around all over the weekend. That has now failed. The evidence has now come out. He was motivated by hate. He was motivated by left-wing radicalism. He got mixed up with some trans ideology in his life. We'll learn more about that, I'm sure, when more evidence and testimony comes out. We are looking around the edges of this for something other than what's staring us in the face. Left-wing radicalism got this kid. He went up to a roof and he murdered our friend, and that's what happened.
Can we, for 1 second, understand that as we continue, Scott just got all angry, got real mad. Face it, it's got to be this, it's got to be this, it's got to be this. Why can't we have a discussion about how long is it going to take for us to figure out a way to come back together?
Just to be clear, I am angry.
Can we just let him finish
I
his
am
thought,
angry.
Scott? I'll let
because
you talk.
I knew it.
Scott, I'll let you talk in just a second. Go ahead.
Could we spend as much time figuring out how we bridge this and come back together again? You know, I used to have a note on my producer's desk when I did my show that was said, we don't belabor what happens, we try to figure out why it happens and come up with solutions. Right now, all we're doing is belaboring what happened over and over and over and over again. We're not going to sit down and try to figure out how do we stop it. If we want to
go
stop
after left-wing terrorists. That's actually exactly the conversation we're having, is we're acknowledging there's a problem.
So anybody who disagrees with you is a left-wing terrorist?
Absolutely not, but if they target a conservative and murder him in brutal fashion, he's probably a left-wing terrorist.
Let me answer your question.
Yes, that person is a murderer.
You said,
we can all acknowledge that.
You said I am angry, and I'm just telling. I am channeling the emotions of millions of conservatives who are angry. They knew Charlie. They loved Charlie. They viewed Charlie as a mainstream conservative Republican voice who talked about issues that millions of Americans believe. He also talked about his faith. And he did it by going to college campuses, which are not normally hospitable to conservatives, and offering his opponents a microphone to have what we always say.
In support of what? In support of what?
Civil discourse.
Not only that, in support of the First Amendment.
And
guess
what?
He made sure that people had an opportunity to stand in a room and talk.
He was murdered trying to do what we always say. Why don't we talk to each other? So yes, it's not even been a week. So you're going to have to give us a little grace on being angry about somebody who did what you always say that we should do. Let's talk.
We didn't
and he
get
got
much
killed.
grace over.
And he got
more
killed.
than a week's grace over
So,
two Michigan elected officials.
Stop! I can't stop. I can't do it. I can't do it. These son of a guns. They jump to the Michigan people. What would it? Why is it we need to find a way to come together? They murdered Charlie. What do you mean? There ain't no coming together. I mean, there's no immediate necessity to have empathy for this kid and say, let's come together. Justice needs to be served. Then we can talk. What are you saying? Let's think about his feelings and this is not the time. No, Charlie's dead. He ain't coming back. We don't get a second chance. Screw this. I want to cuss. He ain't getting a second chance. What do you mean? Let's slow down. No, you should have said let's slow down when they were pushing that rhetoric that he was evil and he was hateful and he was a fascist. That's when you slow down the rhetoric. Now that this man done killed Charlie, he got to pay the price for it. I don't hear nothing about his first love. Somebody disrespect. People say stuff about because I'm married to a white woman. That means go out and start blasting people. Don't get me started with this sugar honey iced tea. Like when people talk like Montel Williams, it enrages me. Like I want to be cool, but then it enraged me to say, "Oh, if this is how you guys think." All right, I'm not gonna say nothing else because boy, I want to say something. Maybe I should do it on behind a paywall or something. Y'all get my real feelings out there. I don't want to hear that. Oh, his first love, man. Him and his first love. He killed somebody. It's not that he went out there and argued with Charlie and yelled a little bit because he was upset about his first love. He killed somebody in cold blood in front of the world. And y'all want to have sympathy. But the thing is, they don't do that when George Floyd died. George Floyd is not honorable whatsoever, mother-freaking ever. He a crackhead, stealing, fighting the cops when he died. Charlie Kirk is just expressing his free speech, talking about Jesus Christ before he got killed. But y'all didn't want to slow down the rhetoric when George Floyd got killed. Y'all didn't say stop burning these buildings. Y'all on TV talking about it's mostly peaceful when a building is burning behind you. People didn't got killed in these protests in 2020 during the George Floyd riots. Y'all wasn't toning nothing down. Y'all didn't want to talk about nobody issues. You didn't want to say nothing about the police officer. What about the police officer's feelings? What about his burnout? What about the fact he tired of dealing with ends all day? They don't have common decency. Y'all don't want to have no empathy for a cop when a cop do something, but you want to have empathy for a weirdo that because he want another man on top of him who don't know if he a man or not, that somehow he need to get compassion because he getting stung at night. Just because you gay don't mean you get compassion. Just because you want to be what they call him, a furry. Y'all lucky I'm saved. I would be cussing and threatening people on here if I wasn't saved. Let's go to Ted Cruz clip so I can calm down. This will give me a chance to take a break and calm down. Roll the clip.
You said a lot there, and we don't have a motive yet. We don't know yet. We're waiting. Obviously, we've heard what the governor's had to say, what the FBI director said today.
Come on, we don't have a motive yet.
We know
we don't have a motive yet.
What's happening with
really? That's CNN's position.
I mean, from law enforcement,
he just happened
Senator.
to fire the gun in celebration. You can't tell the motive.
Senator, that's not what I said, and I said law enforcement hasn't laid out a direct motive. They've laid out a lot of evidence here of these messages and what
actually
the
they
shooter
have.
said
They've said that he was a left-wing activist who hated Charlie Kirk. Pardon?
Senator, with all due respect, you know exactly what I'm saying. I'm not arguing with you politically. I'm saying that law enforcement has not put a specific motive. You know that there's a difference of what they're putting in a legal argument than what you're talking about. And you're not even, we're not even arguing about.
Stop. Hold on. They wrote an indictment. What you mean they don't have a motive? He's indicted, fool. How do they write an indictment with no motive? You telling me they don't have a motive, but they have the messages where he said that he planned it because he have an opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk because he's sick of him spreading hate. It's a motive in the text messages that they had before they released it to the public. You idiot. And you don't have to know a mother freaking thing. You don't have to know nothing to tell why he did it, fool. Why would he kill Charlie at an event like this? Because, I don't need to see a text message. He shot Charlie Kirk. What text message you need to read? Play the clip.
What you just said is false,
Senator,
Caitlin.
No.
Caitlin, facts. Hold on a second. Let me answer your statement because what you said is factually
Senator, with
false.
all due respect.
Law enforcement.
With all due respect, you're putting a lot of statements
okay, go ahead,
that I did not say. And I want to get back to. We just laid out the facts.
You
in the
just
opening
said
of the
law
show,
enforcement has not made out a motive.
Today.
That is objectively
and we just spoke to the
false.
Deputy Attorney General.
That is objectively false.
They
what
have not
you are
set a
saying
concrete
is
motive of
objectively
exactly
false,
what it was.
And
They've
CNN
laid out
should
every
not be
evidence that we
engaged
know
in
so far.
misinformation. Caitlin, answer my question.
It's not
Have you seen the
misinformation,
polling
Senator.
that shows the vast majority of
you were
Democrats
taking what I
believe
said
this murderer is a Republican and a Trump supporter? Have you seen that polling?
Let me get back to my questions, though, Senator, because the question here
You're not going to answer that
was
question?
actually
Are you going to answer
what
that
you were
question?
saying
You
about
have seen that
investigations that you'd like to see.
So you're not going to
Senator,
answer the
I'm
question.
the one asking the questions here. And the question
No,
about
we're having
you
a
saying that
conversation. I understand
left-wing groups
that
need
you
to be
want to
investigated
say
for
things
where
that
the
are
financing
factually
is
false,
coming.
and then you
Do
don't
you believe
actually
that
want the
right-wing
facts.
groups also
You don't
need to be
actually want the
investigated?
facts laid out.
I'm
Okay,
finna
give
blow up.
your speech.
That's not true, Senator. I'm asking you a question.
Finna blow
Go
up.
ahead. I don't know what your question is because we have
You
a
said that
delay
you
because you're in
believe
England, so
that-
I can't hear what you're saying.
You said that you believe that left-wing groups should be investigated. You want to know where the financing is coming from for protests. Do you believe that they should also
Yes.
be looking into right-wing groups as well, or do you believe it should only be limited to that?
Stupid question.
Look,
Stupid
I believe
question.
anyone engaged in acts of violence should be prosecuted and go to jail. But I will say there has been an enormous amount, and CNN has been guilty of this, of both sidesism, of saying, gosh, both sides are violent. And understand, yes, there is some violence on both sides, but it is the left that overwhelmingly celebrates this. It is leftists that have been celebrating. You look at Blue Sky, and it is a cesspool of leftists celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk. You look at recent polling that shows over 50% of Democrats saying violence against Elon Musk is justified. Violence against Donald Trump is justified. You look at Democrats who do things like what Kamala Harris did of giving money and urging people to give money to bail out violent rioters and Antifa riots. It is only one side that justifies this violence. My view is if you commit acts of violence, you should be prosecuted. And so, yes, we should follow the money. Anyone funding acts of violence, we should go
Senator,
after. But this is a left-wing problem.
How can you argue that it's... I think the argument that people have been talking about recently is what's going on with the Charlie Kirk case. I think people have raised that because there have been other acts of political violence as well when it comes to targeting Democrats. I mean, we've seen that with a lawmaker who was killed in Minnesota this summer alongside her husband. We've seen it with the break-in at Nancy Pelosi.
But the assassin
We've also
there
seen
was
it with
a deranged,
Justice Brett Kavanaugh
the
and
assassin
others.
Hold on a second. If you're going to say facts, you need to get your facts right. The assassin there was not a right-wing assassin acting on a political motive. The assassin there was someone who had been an appointee of Tim Walz, and he was a deranged lunatic. And yes, there are deranged lunatics who attack people both right and left, but if you look at murders carried out for political agendas, they are overwhelmingly on the left. Whether it is the assassination of Charlie Kirk, the 2 assassination attempts of Donald Trump, the assassination attempt on Brett Kavanaugh, over and over and over again, whether it was the congressional shooter who came to Washington to the baseball game and said, I want to find congressional Republicans
we've noted all of those
to attack.
instances. We noted
but
all of those
it is a
instances, but sir,
disproportionate problem.
we're also noting that there have been
look at
others,
the
including the
reaction.
Democratic lawmakers who were targeted just a couple of months ago. So I think that is the point that people have made here.
But it
when
wasn't
they've
by a
heard the
Republican
administration
for
say
a
they're gonna
political
go after
agenda. And
left-wing
by the way,
groups.
that lunatic should be prosecuted and go to jail. So what I'm not doing is what leftists are doing. Leftists are
But, sir, can I ask
celebrating
a
that
question
murder. I
here?
think the murder in Minnesota was horrible. It was horrible, and that violent criminal should be prosecuted and going to jail. You would have a point if I said, gosh, let's set up a bail fund for that murderer. Then you'd have a point. But it's only one side that is doing that. Do you agree that on Blue Sky, there are thousands of leftists celebrating and reveling in the murder of Charlie Kirk?
Okay. Senator, I don't think that anyone should
It's a fact.
celebrate
Are you
someone's
gonna
murder
agree?
regardless of what that person
But do you
believed
agree
when they
that
were on
they
Earth.
are?
And I
You're
don't
right.
think
No
Blue
one
Sky
should,
is
but-
representative of how people feel. If you celebrate it, I think that's wrong, and I think that's
It's
evil.
representative of
And Senator Ted
leftists.
Cruz,
It's
thanks for
only
your time
left-wingers are on it.
tonight. Senator Ted Cruz, thanks for your time tonight.
She's so stupid. It's crazy to me. Y'all, I was struggling through that because I want to interject and scream in her face through this TV, but I can't go back in time or teleport. I don't know why these people got to be so disingenuous. If you're not a left winger, why are you trying to defend left wing stupidity? Well, I will never understand these things. It is very clear that it's a left wing ideology that preaches these level of violence. And the thing is that the people who are mentally ill are on the left. There may be a few on the right, but the overwhelming majority of these weirdos are on the left, hypnotized with hatred. There has never even been an assassination attempt on the leftists in office. Donald Trump had 2 of them. From the skin of his chinny chin chin, he didn't get killed after, when they were at the rally. He barely almost missed that. And if they could, they'd killed him. We don't know the motive yet. What do you mean? They told you the motive. They could kill. One dude came to had a gun in a briefcase. And I know I don't like Nick Fuentes, but the dude came to Nick Fuentes' house. He killed somebody. Then he tried to go kill Nick Fuentes. What are we talking about? Stupidity. I got a bunch of stuff I want to talk about. I'm gonna get to these super chats and we'll get back to the thing. Let me get to these super chats real quick. I got a bunch of people super chatting. I hope people ain't paying to say stupid stuff. If people paying to say stupid stuff, Nick, I'm gonna go with the red ones first. I think we got one red one. That one is red. $50. It says, Brandon, at this point, I feel that you have to speak about Candace. I watch you both and I'm so confused. This isn't from a bad place, so many are just lost and confused. What is the truth? I know I'm not alone. So many want to hear it from you. So if you guys, those of you who have wisdom, you can see that I'm avoiding bringing up her by name. Can you see that? You see that I'm addressing points. I'm not addressing her by name. Why? Because I have a personal relationship with her, and I don't want to be doing that. I know her personally. I texted her just yesterday. We have conversations with just me and her, and I don't think it's necessary people want clickbait and want us to argue and want to be able to put in their comment section Brandon Tatum, Candace Owens. I don't want to do that. I can talk about ideas. Now, some of these people that I don't know, I don't mind blasting them, but I know her personally, and I don't want to do that. I don't want y'all to have clickbait of us arguing and me dissing her and her dissing me and doing that. We just don't do that. And that don't mean we all agree. I didn't agree with everything Charlie said. I don't agree with everything Candace said. But you will never see me calling Charlie out by name. You'll never see me calling Candace out by name, and you'll never see them calling me out by name. It's about the topics. And these other people, I don't know them, and I think that they're evil. I don't think that Candace is evil. So me and her will have a discussion privately, but the topics of concern are the topics. The ideas that are out there are the ideas that I will challenge. And I know some people may feel like, oh, you should do this, do that. I get what you're saying, and I'm not mad at you for saying that. But I just have made the decision that I'm not going to be caught on no camera doing that to one of my really good friends. I disagree with certain things she says, and I pray for her. These other people, I don't know them, and they're evil to me. All right? Don't play this conspiracy hate game. It will all come out. Don't allow these people to consume your heart. Don't get sucked in. Life is balanced. We carry the burden of entitlement, of keeping it. It's what made you and I a good cop. Don't let that go. I'm kind of confused on that, but I think I know what you're saying. Yeah, man. So I wish I could just make a video and be like, this is what you're not going to hear. Like, they stop asking me. But I'm addressing the issues that are brought up. I'm addressing these things that are brought up. Hey, I don't know if you remember my last message, but just wanted to let you know that I did it. I'm the new Louisiana citywide chairman of Blexit. Unfortunately, I got it the day after Charlie was assassinated. I'm sorry to hear that, but congratulations for you. Send me a message in the super chat. Not super chat, but send me a message on IG. What's also weird is that right before Charlie died, he told me that he agreed with me on everything, guys. Sources is crack pipe demons. Trust me, bro. That's the shade. That's the weird part, man. Like, I don't know. I just don't believe in sharing messages from people that I communicate with unless they are aware that I'm going to share a personal message that they've communicated to me. I just don't do that. I got messages, I got conversations privately that I had with so many other people, and I don't feel the need to disclose that stuff, especially if they die. At some point you go, the person's dead, man. Let me just ease off this. Like, I know we had beef or whatever. Let me just take a break on this. There's no way in the world that if somebody I know personally died and we disagreed, that I'm going to mention anything about our disagreement for a while. I don't need to address that right away. I don't need to make that a focal point of my conversation. I don't need to. And I view Charlie, and I don't know if he felt the same way about me. I have no idea. I don't know what's in people's minds, but I view Charlie as a good guy, a young man who was going through life, learning fast. He had a variety of ideas. He was very intelligent, and he was 31. I'm 7 years older than Charlie. So, and I had kids when Charlie was young. How old was Charlie? If I'm 7 years older than Charlie, I had my kid when I was 23 years old. Charlie wasn't even old enough, wasn't even an adult yet. He wasn't old enough to drive a car yet. And I already had a kid. So I have lived a lot of life, or more life than Charlie has to a certain degree. I went to college. I have the college and university experience. I've had, I was a cop. I played college football. I grew up in the inner city. I grew up in the hood. I have a lot more experience. And so therefore things that I may disagree with, in my opinion, things I may disagree with Charlie on, I disagree with them, but I don't cast him away, because some of the things I disagree with him on I think it's because of age, and because when you live longer and you get exposed to different things, you begin to think differently. But I don't feel the need to air out laundry when the man ain't been put in the ground yet. Let me tell y'all, there's things that people have done to me, have said to me. There's organizations who have treated me unfairly and treated me fairly, back and forth. And I don't feel the need to put things out there in the ethos. Because just because my one experience doesn't mean that's the totality of the experience. And sometimes you need to be cautious of creating division unnecessarily. So Brandon Tatum, if I want to be salacious and I want to give you the tea and I want to maximize off Charlie's death, I could tell you all kind of stories about Charlie and about other people. And I don't have any negative things to say about Charlie, but I could tell you all kind of stuff that somebody told me, whether it's negative, positive, whether I go down the whole rabbit trail. But why in the would I do that when somebody I claim I care about has been dead and been killed? It's not important to me. Even if me and Charlie was like at each other's throat, imagine that, and we weren't. But let's just imagine me and Charlie had beef and nobody knew because we were secretly texting each other. And I was talking to me, and I'm like, man, F that dude, man. I don't want nothing to do with that dude. And he dies. Yeah, it's a lot of tea. I could tell y'all right before he died, man, this is what he said to me. Look, this is what he said to me, man. He a fraud. Or I could say, the movement is bigger than me. Unity is bigger than me. I play a part in this. It ain't about me. So when I go to say I got tea and I got this, I say, well, it ain't about me. So you don't need to hear tea from me. Let's make it about him. Let's make it about his legacy. He ain't here to defend himself. I don't need to say nothing about the man unless it's flattering, or don't say nothing at all. And if it's going to cause division, I don't need to say nothing. There's people in the movement that have said the craziest things to me, that have gave me all kind of tea about this person, that person, doing this with that and this another person. I got all the tea. Some of y'all favorite people. If you knew what I knew, they may not be your favorite people no more. But at the end of the day, do I feel like it's absolutely necessary and life-changing for me to divulge certain things that I've heard about certain people? It is not. Is it worth more to do that and fracture youth and the way people think about people who are doing mostly good? It's not worth it. Let me get this last super chat, then we're going to get back to the stuff. Somebody wrote super chat, $99 super chat. I don't want to blast her. Hold on. I do not want you to blast her. Want to know why someone thinks that way. Why you think some people think that way. It's a spiritual thing for us followers at point where it's, do I need to go to the Catholic Church, I think, and get educated question. I'm spending my money in good faith and answer. Listen, I wish you to hit me on the inbox so you wouldn't have to spend money, because in good faith, I don't mind answering your question. The first question was much different than this question, in my opinion. Right, Nick? I think this was a little more explanatory. So there's multiple reasons why people think the way they do. There is religious reasons, meaning that some people's religious dogma or religious ideology that come from a certain denomination believe certain things that lead them to a certain point of interpreting situations that come about. Interpreting our relationship with Israel, interpreting our relationship, what the Bible talks about the Jewish people or the chosen people. It's some people's denominational theology that interprets those things to them. And if they're committed to that ideology, then they only can see it through this lens. Or therefore, everything they believe is now fraudulent. Some people deal with grief differently. Meaning that some people have a hard time compartmentalizing something so heinous that have happened to somebody. Therefore, they lash out in ways in which that are maybe not as productive, because they don't have no other way to lash out. Like you see somebody watch a horrific thing happen and they laugh. That don't mean that they think the horrific thing is funny. That's a defense mechanism, because they don't want to face the sadness. So they try to revert that into a joke, or try to revert that into being funny. Just like cops do it all the time. When somebody gets killed or something like that, sometimes we joke about dead bodies and stuff like that. And it's not because we really think it's funny. It's because it's the brain's mechanism of diverting the trauma and saying, that's funny. But at night, it ain't funny to you. At night, it's horrifying. At night, you're waking up with nightmares. But sometimes people have a defense mechanism. And then there's the avoidance mechanism, which means that I don't want this to be true, because then this makes me vulnerable and I am a threat and I can easily lose my life like Charlie lost his life. So instead of me accepting the fact that any little weirdo with no life, no value can find a way to kill me, and I'm a juggernaut, I don't want that to be true. So what makes me more comfortable is if there's a conspiracy that all of these parts have to happen before that ever can happen to me. So I'm safe and secure because I'm not a part of all of these dots that have to be connected in order for me to lose my life. Over here is I could lose my life any day, anywhere, anytime by anybody, no matter what the value system of that person is or not what the value they hold, versus I'm safe because I'm doing the right thing and I'm protected, and you got to be a part of X, Y, Z to end up getting in yourself in a situation. So those are theoretically positions that I think people take and why they take them. Some people are just malicious. They're tactical. They know where to get clicks and subscribers. They know where to go viral. So they strategically put things in place where they find ways to go viral. And there's people that do it intentionally. There's people that do it inadvertently. So there's a myriad of different reasons, and I can't pretend to get in somebody's brain and say, this is the reason a person does it. There are times where people do things in good faith, but it's viewed upon in poor faith because of the timing of what they're doing. A person can genuinely believe that this shooting has a conspiratorial aspect to it, genuinely. But when they put it out at the wrong time, it looks off, it's off-putting. They put it out at the right time, it's genuinely received. Now, people who are dumb, they're going to follow whoever they want to follow and say everything somebody do is right. I could be wrong. There are people that say I'm right when I'm wrong. When I know I'm wrong, they'll say I'm right. There's people that will argue with me that I'm right when I know that I'm wrong. Officer Tatum, it was great meeting you at the UFC. I appreciate you coming over to talk to my brother. Hope you two can collab soon. Yeah. Yeah. Good meeting you too, man. Yep. We should do that. Hopefully. Yeah. I think I gave my number. I respect you and you're a man, and I understand you don't want to burn that friendship, but soon you will have no choice and you'll have to call them out. You know, before I ever get to that point, see, sorry, Nick. I'm sorry, bro. I'm going to get you some help in here, all right? And then you don't have to worry about it being so long. But the difference between, and this is just me, because my loyalty is there, I would never call Charlie out in public. If anything, I would say, Charlie, let's have a discussion. Let me come on your show. Let's discuss our differences. Or I'll call Charlie on the phone. I would never blast Charlie in public. I just won't do it, even when we disagree or agreed. Same thing with Candace. If I really thought it was necessary to confront Candace about something, me and Candace would just have a conversation about it. And we could do a public conversation before you find me publicly excoriating her and blasting her for clickbait. I know people want to see the clicks. If I came out right now and I said, I'm going all in, stay tuned, I got receipts, I have 5 million people watching that video. And I'll make a lot of money from that video. 5 million people. You want me to tell you how much we'll make with 5 million people watching it? How much will we make, Nick, on one video? 5 million people. 20,000? About $25,000 on one video. If I had 5 million people watching my video, put an advertiser on there, it'd be more than that. I'd be making $50,000 on one video. But my loyalty, my friendship, and my dedication to being loyal to my word mean more than a $50,000 check just to capitulate and make people excited about drama. I could drip receipts and drip this and stay tuned, look at this. And I could feud with Candace back and forth on social media. And some people would love to see that. But that's counterproductive to my friendship and my relationship with my friend. Somebody who had my back from the very beginning. And I think you guys should be able to see that we don't agree. But to get a video of me bashing my friend is not going to happen. And that's because I may disagree with what a person say. That doesn't mean I don't love the person, because I know the person. And when me and her first started, we were nobodies. Nobody knew our name. Nobody followed us. We weren't making no money. We weren't doing nothing. It was Red Pill Black and Officer Tatum. And we had our first meeting at a restaurant. I ain't never met her before. We met up at a restaurant. We see if we could collab. You know, I could tell the story about the whole thing. It was a great experience. And every time she got an opportunity, she made sure I had an opportunity. And every time I had an opportunity, I made sure my sister had an opportunity. And every time somebody came after me, she always had my back. And so, to me, that's off limits to me. If I want to yell and scream at her, I just call on the phone. I got a phone number right here. I texted last night. If I want to yell and scream, I'll yell and scream at it. But I don't want that in the public sphere of me and my sister. Because what happens when we begin to agree on it? And now publicly we hated each other and people ran with that. And then now we talking and we agree because we talk to each other. But now we got on the internet that we had all this beef. Now, if me and Candace want to make some money, we could do it. We'll do it all the entertainment for you guys. I'll go on her show and we'll have a debate and it'll be 600,000 people watching live. That'd be $100,000, $200,000 check. But I don't want no money. I don't want friendship, loyalty, and you being old enough and wise enough to know that this too will pass at some point. Some bridges you just don't burn. Sometimes you don't give the pleasure of airing your family's dirty work out in the public. And maybe I'm wrong for this. Maybe people may think I'm wrong for this, but that's just how I roll. One person. Can y'all give me one person that I'm not going to do that with? I'll crash out on every one of y'all favorites. One person. Because of our friendship and relationship. And I don't agree with everything. And she don't agree with everything I say. Clearly, have you watched the videos? But you ain't going to get me on camera bashing. Just give me one person, y'all. One person I'm not going to bash. And you're not going to see her bashing me. Or Charlie. I don't care what Charlie did. Now he's gone. Whatever me and him had beef with, you'll never know. You ain't gonna catch me. You ain't gonna catch me putting no text messages out there. Anyway, what time is it? Am I gonna miss that interview? It's 2:45. Oh, we got time. All right, love y'all, man. We gotta get to what we gotta get done. All right. But you know, I could have 100,000 people on here at one time if I wanted to get drama. I'll make a lot of money with drama. I don't want drama. I want peace. I want truth. I want Charlie's legacy to continue. I want to do the right thing by people. That's what my stance is. I could get out and get y'all favorite people on here and be blasted, interview them and gossiping, and I could bring them some conspiracy theories and I'd be rich. Conspiratorial podcasting is wealth. You bring up some stuff that somebody had heard, you go deep diving into conspiracies that nobody ever would be able to prove because it ain't rooted in hardly nothing. You can run that conspiracy theory to it fall off a cliff because nobody would ever. It's like a cliffhanger. You're gonna always be trying to figure out what somebody said. And I just don't feel like that's never been me. So any Jew. Let's move on. Okay. Pastor Philip Anthony, who's a powerhouse. Let me tell y'all this. And I'm genuine about this. He's not my favorite only because, and this is surface level, sometimes the way, I guess the New York accent kind of bothers me a little bit. And the fact that every time I listen to him, he's screaming. So it's, I don't like to hear screaming all the time. But what is 1,000% undeniable is facts and biblical truth. I don't think I've heard Anthony Phillip of the 20, what's that church called? The 28, 21? What's that church name? Somebody just put it in the comment. Hold on. I have never heard of Anthony Phillip at the 2819 church. I have never in my life heard him say something that wasn't 100% accurate. I ain't never heard it. I ain't never heard that man say something that wasn't real. I ain't never heard that man say something that wasn't the coldest that I ever heard. just based on fact and perceived integrity, because I don't know him, logic, challenging the Christian faith, there's only a few doing it like this. I can count on my hand how many real pastors I know, both hands. I think it's only this many that I know. And that's sad, but it's true. Because just preaching good don't make you a real pastor. Jamal Bryant can preach you up under the bleachers. These pastors know how to hoop, holler, and do all this, and they ain't saying nothing but evilness. Roll the clip.
Whatever you believe in, or even if you disagree with somebody, man, the scriptures give us no license to take pleasure or delight in the murder of another human being, not even your own enemies. For the scripture teaches us that we should not glory in the calamity of other human beings. And what we have seen on this week is the full display of just evil and the full display of ignorance and ungodliness of people who even call themselves Christians that celebrate the murder of other people.
Another Christian, actually.
That even if my enemies died, I have enough character to not celebrate the death of my enemies. And that some of us should just get off of social media, because what we're doing is making our ignorance palpable. And this week I've seen the ugliness of our race, the human race.
I thought he almost said it. You heard him, nigga? He said, I seen the ugliness of our race. I like, me too. Then he said human race. I'm like, oh man, I thought you was going there. No, I seen the ugliness of our race, black people. Ugliness. Ugliness. What'd you say? Let me give you another example. This is an example of a good black man who, and you can't say he's good because he agree with me. Is anything he said wasn't true? Listen, I got people who are my enemies, and I cannot confirm or deny. I got to give money to my enemies every month. I got to give money to my enemies. So, my wife would think that's funny. But I will not glory in the calamity. But I do call for justice. I do preach, I pray the prayer that David prayed, that the prayer to allow my enemies to fall in the very trap that they have set before me. And that is, if anybody's doing anything wrong against me, not in good faith. Sometimes things go wrong in good faith. Sometimes people are misinformed. Sometimes people are unintentionally doing things that hurt you. That's not in good faith. I mean, that is in good faith, and they just doing something that hurts you. I do not pray for their calamity. But the ones who plot and strategically plan to destroy you, your family, and your reputation, I say, Lord, cast them into the pit that they tried to set me up in. And when God throw them off a cliff and they lose their sanity, they lose their moral character, they live a life of demise and hatred and self-defecation, I'm not laughing at you. You just got what you sowed. And to be honest, even though I shouldn't, sometimes I'm even willing in a bad situation to lift people up. I know you've been dirty to me all these years. But if you fell down and needed me, and you know, I struggle with it though, because I want to just kick you while you're down. But when you fall down, I'm not going to be the one to sit there and watch you suffer. Now, I ain't going to give you all I got, but I ain't going to watch you suffer. But some people will love to watch me suffer. But that's not That's not what God called us to do. Let's go to Acho, one of the other dumbest CTE football players that's out there just saying lunacy. I don't know how black people, listen, I know how young black people are silly. I don't know how grown black people are silly. Like, bro, at some point, you have to have run into knowledge that can give you a better perspective where you're not this silly. Roll the clip.
I'm heartbroken and devastated at the death of Charlie Kirk for a couple reasons. Number one, I mourn for his wife. I mourn for his children. I mourn for his loved ones. I mourn for all of those that loved him. And as a human who has empathy, regardless of your political views or where you stand on the aisle, right now it's time to mourn with those that are mourning and weep with those that are weeping. And so that is what I'm literally and figuratively doing. Simultaneously, I haven't found the words to say, Kieran, and I haven't found the words to say because when I look into so much of what people love and loved Charlie Kirk for, I'm like, okay, Emmanuel, your empathy is birthed from a belief that no person should die before their time, and absolutely no person should die as a result of gun violence, especially outside of war. But Charlie Kirk, he proudly stated that death by guns is a price we have to pay for our Second Amendment rights. And he said that it was worth it. And so I've been torn onto, like, how do I share my emotions with y'all? How do I share my emotions with you? Because at times it almost feels like me mourning his death by gun is the opposite of what he stood for, is the opposite of what he said, is the opposite of what he believed, because Charlie Kirk made a point one time that in order to have cars, we will have fatalities by cars. He said 50,000 people die by automobile annually. And so if we were to get rid of automobiles, yes, we would save those 50,000 lives. However, we would be a much more inefficient society from a transportation perspective, from a communication perspective, et cetera. In the same breath, Charlie drew that parallel with guns and gun violence. In order to protect our Second Amendment right, people will tragically die by gun violence. And so I've just been in turmoil all day, and my heart is hurt. It's been heavy. It's been weeping for his family. It's been weeping for his loved ones, and I don't really know the words to share.
Let me put this in perspective. See, this is the trickery of weirdo people. It's called gaslighting. Acho, there's nothing more you need to say. If you claim that you're mourning his life and he shouldn't have died, that's it. What else are you talking about? Nick, do you see what I'm saying? What else is he trying to explain here? There's nothing further to explain. If you think his death was tragic, if you think you're mourning for his family, what else do you need to say? You are gaslighting us by bringing, I'm going to show you this clip. Y'all wait. You're gaslighting us by bringing up something he said about losing your life to gun violence outside of the context of the discussion that he was having. So why bring that up, Acho? You saying I don't have the words. You just spoke the words before you brought up something you claim he said. Play this clip and it'll make more sense to y'all. Roll it.
Charlie Kirk's death has led me to an uncomfortable conversation that I want to facilitate. To my white brothers and sisters, how would you hope your minority friends respond to the celebration of Charlie Kirk's life when he has very publicly said things like this?
I live like a capitalist every single day, Shank. I live as a capitalist. Because of DEI, it begs the question when you see a black pilot, you wonder, you say, I hope they are qualified. If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her excellence? And Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously.
Refer to Asian individuals by the C word, a word violent for me.
He referred to Asian. Somebody get that boy. He referred to Asian individuals as the C word. First of all, there's no C word, you idiot. And And second of all, that was Cenk Uygur, who he was arguing with. So he didn't call nobody a Cenk. He was talking about Cenk Uygur, who, if you played the full clip, you idiot, you just sitting on here, you just sitting on there taking clips off the internet, talking about you processing. Fool, you don't even do no real research. Before you open your mouth about a dead man, can you watch the full video? At what point do we realize you probably need some more context, dummy? Everybody's loved this guy, and you see one little clip where it sounds weird. Watch the whole clip, dummy. Now you look stupid because he was arguing with a guy named Cenk. If you watch the whole clip, you'll see them come together, and Cenk come to the stage and Charlie come to the edge of the stage. Because you dumb, you just pull this clip off the internet somewhere. Let's go with let him finish.
To even utter. Refer to Michelle Obama and Ketanji Brown Jackson of the Supreme Court, both Harvard graduates, as not having the brain processing power to be taken seriously. Suggested that if seeing a black pilot, would assume they were a DEI hire. To my white brothers and sisters, I'm genuinely asking, how would you like your minority friends to respond to the celebration of his life? Not to his death, but to the celebration of his life.
These dudes so deep, they stupid. It's like these pastors that they get so deep and they ain't never said nothing. Why are you bringing race into this, brother? Why are you saying white people? How do you want your minority friend? So you're saying all minorities are somehow against Charlie. Like the white people, it's the burden of the white man to prove Charlie right. First of all, let's go through a few of the little clips that he did that's moronic to me. I hope that if a black man is a pilot that he's qualified. Why would Charlie say that? If you were smart, you will understand the context of DEI hires. That means that people are saying we have to make a quota, meaning we have to hire black people, no matter if their qualification is at the top of the food chain or the bottom of the food chain. Instead of saying we have a policy that we have to hire X amount of blacks, if you idiots would just hire blacks, you won't put a target on them. Because if you now have an influx of black pilots and you didn't declare that their color mean more than their qualification, then people wouldn't even think twice. And that's what Charlie is saying. But because you guys, and especially the American airline, the airlines that came out with this, they made mention as a part of a press release that they are going to hire X amount of black people, and that qualifications came secondary. Now, of course, if you're a pilot, you're qualified, but competitive qualifications has come secondary to color. So what Charlie is saying is that when I see a black man now that y'all have introduced this stupidity, you now wonder, like, bro, were you at the bottom of your class? Did you barely make it in? And because you black, you can what? And also when it comes to Ketanji Brown Jackson, the white man that y'all worship and voted for is the one that gave her a bad reputation. That dummy said, I'm going to hire a black woman. He didn't say the most qualified. He said a black woman. And all he had to do was say, I'm going to hire the most qualified person that has ever been a Supreme Court justice. Color is not a factor. I don't care about our color. I don't care about race, gender, color, or whatever you call it. I just want the most qualified, and I'm going to make sure that happens. And just hire the black woman. But you too stupid to realize that once you put her out there, that's like me saying, Nick, we're going to hire another video editor, and it's got to be a black one. You're going to be like, bro, but is he the best? Right? You're going to be like, but is he the best, bro? Are you like how are you evaluating? Like, what if I got a guy that I know that's the best video editor, and if he's not black, are you not going to hire him for a guy that's lower, have lower merit, less experience? But if I wanted to hire a black person and I didn't want to destroy the camaraderie, then you find the best and you don't bring it up. When you start bringing up stuff, then you start throwing it off. And that's all Charlie's saying. But Acho stupider than a mud. All these black people that Charlie Kirk has empowered, his friends, the black leadership, Blexit. My gosh. All right, enough of that silly rabbit. One more story. Oh, no, I forgot Jimmy Kimmel. What's the other ones? I was going to do the high school teen stand up for Charlie. It was a black kid. We got that clip? Yeah. Okay. So was it kids or kid? High school kids. Well. Oh, yeah, one of the black. Oh, I missed another clip. It's another clip. We didn't have it, but maybe we could put it in there, post-production. But it was a clip of, I think, one black kid that came up and defended Charlie. And then this is the group of kids. One of them was black. All right, which is a diverse group. Yeah, maybe that was that one. All right, let's play this clip, though. Since Charlie was a racist, roll the clip.
I'm Jahari. I'm Caleb. And I'm Brandon. And as the people of the youth, we've decided to come up and give our perspective on the subject, considering it is our teacher and one of the people that will guide our futures. No matter what anyone says to me, I will never stand for violence, especially of a man who was publicly murdered in front of his wife, one of his children, thousands of students, and other bystanders. Charlie was not a racist, he did not hurt anyone sexually, and he did not kill anyone. Therefore, this was an unjustified cause of death that should never be celebrated. So if you ask me, Charlie's children do not deserve to grow up without their father. Charlie's wife did not deserve to lose her husband. Charlie did not deserve to lose his life because of a different opinion. But this teacher deserves to lose his job. As civilians and people of our great country, we hold ourselves to a higher standard than to support, or worse yet, rejoice in violence. Someone who advocated for an arrested murderer and assassinator of one of the greatest debaters and free speakers of our time should have no place in the classroom, more so around young children.
As a student of Barrington High, I did not feel comfortable or safe with one of our teachers supporting violence. We believe this world needs God because something as cruel as this should never be celebrated. God bless Charlie Kirk and rest in peace, Mr. Kirk.
And what else needs to be said? Now, I want to play this clip of Charlie Kirk being a racist for 2 minutes. So for the dum-dums in the room, y'all save this part because I want to show a clip of Charlie Kirk being a racist for 2 minutes straight. Maybe a little longer. Well, this is your boy Charlie being a racist. The racist that they claim that's out here, all your dumb black friends. It's not everybody black, but you know, the most of your friends that's black is dumb, and they mad at Charlie over something that they ain't even watch his content. All right, roll the clip.
Give me one thing that white people and black people have different biologically.
Don't change the question of this. Like DNA-wise, we are different.
No, we're not. That's a lie. It has been disproven. Front page of National Geographic 6 months ago. Racism created by society. If you look at DNA independently in a science laboratory, they cannot distinguish between a black person or a white person if they look at just the DNA, because the only difference is the melanin. It has been disproven. Race is a social construct that I want to break out of.
And I want to give Charlie some credit here, okay? Back in 2019, Charlie Kirk helped a lot of young blacks get to the White House. He changed a lot of their lives. A lot of them never imagined going to the White House, and Charlie helped hundreds of young black boys and girls go to the White House. Charlie, thank you for that.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, man.
So for people who want to call Charlie a racist, kiss my black ass, excuse my language. Charlie Kirk is not a racist.
I love this guy. I'll tell you. And, by the way, I have some New York Times reporters for you to talk to.
I'll talk to them.
No, yeah.
See, you got an anti-DEI shirt on, so this is about to get good.
Well, instead of debating DEI, why don't you define it?
Got you. So diversity, equity, and inclusion.
I know what that means.
Okay, my fault.
I would say DEI stands for didn't earn it.
Ooh. Didn't earn it. You've been working on it. I honestly believe that the fact that you got to this point where you was already unrepresented on these campuses already shows that you did actually earn to get those fundings, did actually earn to get that exclusivity tailored to you.
But let's try to find some common ground.
Okay.
Do you think people should be hired based on their race or their competency?
I don't think that. I think they should be race.
Which one?
My fault. Sorry. My fault. I think that they should be hired based off their competency, not their race.
We totally agree, right?
Okay.
So what DEI does in practice, not in theory,
is it focuses on race more than competence. And
Okay.
that is our concern.
Okay.
And so what I want, and you seem, very passionate about a lot of things, and you obviously have skills. For your life, I want you always to be judged on the content of your character, not the color of your skin. Where DEI says, no, we're actually going to care more about skin color than competency. And so what we want is an America based on merit, America based on how hard you work, an America based on what you bring to the table, not just what you look like.
Thank you.
What a gift
so
from God.
much.
How hard you work, an America based on what you bring to the table, not just what you look like. How are you? What a beautiful kid that is.
Thank you.
What a gift
so
from God.
much.
Yeah.
She truly is. She is the biggest blessing. Something that kind of has me like on the fence of whether or not I go kind of like full blown more like conservative or moderate is just seeing how
Give it up. That is a gift from the Lord, everybody. That is just beautiful.
I see that, we're starting to save a lot of money from things such as like Doge, but do you think that some of that money should go back to maybe like reforming the way that welfare is done to help poor families who do want to kind of pursue that American dream?
Great question. The number one objective of any social welfare program should be, how do we keep the family together and put dads back in the family? Unfortunately, in the black community, dads are the most absent of any community. About 2/3 of all black youth will be raised without a stable father around. And I know it's crazy, right? And that little precious angel of yours deserves to have a father around. And unfortunately, as we've removed dads from families, government has come in and has taken the place. So some people need help and they need social assistance. All of that should be about incentivizing the dad staying around, not the dad leaving. The Democrat Party does not talk about dads at all. The Republican Party, we are talking about how men need to be men again, in the home, take responsibility, provide for your family, and with strong families comes smaller government and a better country.
Charlie Kirk sent me a direct message, and I'm going to show you what it said. This is almost 6 years ago exactly now, as of this video. I had not spoken to him in person or on social media. He started the conversation. You know what he said? 3 words. You are terrific. Now bear in mind, this is back before I was blessed with the followership I have now. I had fewer than 10,000 followers on Instagram, very small Facebook presence, wasn't even on TikTok at the time. But the fact of the matter is, this young man, this leader of Turning Point USA, reached out to me and saw something I had done. And he felt so moved that he reached out to me himself to encourage me. And then he went a step further. He invited me to the BLS, which is the Black Leadership Summit Turning Point USA was putting on in Washington, D.C. I told him, transparently, I was in between jobs and didn't have the money to fund my trip. He told me that they had scholarships available and to email him directly and he'd be able to take care of it. I did, and that's the story of how I got to be a part of the Young Black Leadership Summit, which was instrumental in springboarding me to where I am today. Now I share that story because he didn't have to do that. And if he was a racist person, why would he do that? I'm so tired of people being besmirched by the tired liberal lie that anyone they don't like has to be some sort of racist. And I'm not immune to this. They call me racist myself. Of course, it's ridiculous on its face, but this is the nonsensical nature of your average leftist. They really want you to believe deep down Charlie Kirk hated all black people. He saw the best in everyone. He saw in me something I didn't even quite see in myself at the time, and he chose to encourage me. That is why I will literally and metaphorically pick up that mic and continue the work that he started, because I myself and many others are tired of being slandered and maligned by individuals who have nothing to sell us but fear, panic, and lies 24/7. I had to share that story with you. I thought about keeping that to myself, but the more I see him being typecast as some sort of evil person, the more I cannot be silent, and I hope that you will not be silent as well. It is time for action like never before. It is time for voices to rise like never before, and I hope you will join me in that effort. So that is the real Charlie Kirk, the one they don't want you to know, but the one I will continue to remember and honor with my actions into the future. So those are my thoughts. Hopefully you share, and hopefully you get busy as well, because we all have microphones to pick up.
Look at that racism going out. Boy, Charlie, racist like a mud, ain't he? Y'all shut the front door. It's only idiotic people that think Charlie's a racist, because the thing is that for some reason there's something on the inside of black people. Not all. I got to say that every time because y'all be like, you hate black people. I'm black. How am I going to hate myself, you fool? But it's something on the inside of black people that when they hear white people say a fact, it make them feel some type of way. We talk about this in the barbershop. We talk about this among black people, how violent the community is, how people want to move out. They seek out this ghetto stuff. They say all these different things and let a white person say the same thing. And none of person is a racist. Everybody know daddies ain't at the house is a problem. Every boy that grew up without his daddy know it was a problem. It don't take nothing away from your mama. She did the best she can, but it was a problem you had your daddy. And there ain't no boy in the world is like, yeah, I was glad my daddy wasn't around. Come on, bro. And we talk about it. Everybody know young boys growing up in the inner city don't have dads and stuff like that. Black people joke about it. You let a white man tell you that in a debate, and now y'all mad. You can't find nothing that Charlie Kirk actually said within context that's even remotely racist. But, you know, they'll find a way. But I love you guys. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for supporting on the store. I don't even want to promote it no more because y'all just doing way too. Y'all doing way too. It's hard for us to keep up with the amount of orders y'all ordering. But it's for a good cause, and we're gonna push through it, and we're gonna work through it. We have people volunteering and coming out here. It's a beautiful thing to make the dream work. And I tell you what, God put it on my heart to do this. I'm gonna see this through, and we'll go from there. All right. I love you guys. I see y'all next one. I'm out.
Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.